Hello, Christopher. Good morning. We are live
Hey,
on our very first Google Hangout on air. I'm
good.
so happy that you could join me.
Me too, finally.
Absolutely. You know that I have a favorite question, and that is actually asking people, how do you do? But I don't mean this in a very superficial way. I really want to get deeper and want to find out. So um, how are you even on a scale from 1 to 10, and how happy are you currently with your body?
Wow, that's a loaded question. I'm actually 9 out of 10, to be honest. And things are really good in terms of my body. I was gone to South America for like 2.5 months traveling, and I came back to Chiang Mai about 3 months ago. And since then, I've been really dedicated to getting a daily routine in. So I've been working out a lot, juicing twice a day, eating healthy. So it's been about 3 months now, and I feel phenomenal. So I'm actually like a 9 out of 10, to be honest.
I'm so happy to hear that. This is excellent. 9 out of 10 is very good number. Um, of course, my next question would be, was it always like that?
No, there was there's a bit of a dark past that I had to go through, and that's I actually before I moved to Thailand, I was living in New York for 8 years, and I worked on Wall Street, and during that time, I was just working a lot. You know, it's that typical crazy New York go rat race, and at the same time, I was also doing my MBA, and I wasn't sleeping, just really stressed out, and I had a collapsed lung, which happened twice. So that dark area really was hard for me. So I was probably like a negative 9 out of 10 at that point.
Mhm. Yeah, I I met you actually. Maybe I share that also with the others that we met in Chiang Mai during a meditation. And when you then mentioned this to me, I could hardly believe it, because I saw you as this very fit, lean person sitting next to me. And when I then found out from you what health struggles you had to go through, it was like I could see something like almost black and white. And for me, there was a tremendous transformation that I saw happening in you.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, that
Mhm.
it's if when I look back at that time, I feel like I was such a it feels like a lifetime ago, to be honest. Like it's been 3 years that I've been living since I left the US, and I look back and I'm like, man, I can't believe I used to live over there. Like my life is completely different. But that's the thing. That event was a catalyst to me taking a step back and questioning, what do I want out of life? What's important to me? What makes me happy? And it was a wake up call, and I used that to kind of just to leave. And that's been pretty much my main goal for the past 3 years of coming here, is to take the time and be in the environment to nurse myself back to health, to heal myself, and to kind of like figure out about myself and life.
Mhm. Mhm. I'm actually like, for me personally, I would like to know, was it something like wake up and was approach, or can you maybe highlight a little bit how your journey was?
I'm sorry, I get cut off for a second. Can you repeat the question, please?
Okay, the question was the wake up call for you something that happened very early at the time when you had health issues, or was it a gradual process, or you know how did that happen for you?
Yeah, it was a bit of a gradual process. So obviously, when the collapse log, that's when it kind of shook me and woke me up. But obviously, I didn't know what to make of it. So like that, it took me 4 years to complete my MBA. So during those 4 years, I was just like, man, I need to start thinking, what's going to be my exit plan? What's going to be my strategy? So towards the last year of my MBA, I started writing out. I used to daydream a lot, so I used to think about travel all the time, and I made a list of countries I want to go visit. And then what happened was, I was part of an email group, and I got an email for New Year's, and it was a motivation, it was more of like a motivational speech. And the main message from this guy was, try something new that pushes you outside your boundaries. And for me, I don't like to do things on New Year's. I think you should always be gradually improving. But this time I was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna try kickboxing, Muay Thai, because I've never done it before. I've never done any martial arts. So I tried for a free martial arts class, Muay Thai in New York City. And I got addicted to it. I was like, oh my God, this is so much more fun than lifting weights. Than, you know, so I tried it for a couple of weeks, and the more I realized it, I'm like, you know what, I need to do something with this. So when I finished my MBA, I told my boss, I'm like, listen, I need time away from my job. I need not just like a 3-day weekend. I'm like, I need to take like a month off because I was so overworked and exhausted. So I had enough vacation time to take 6 weeks. So I booked a ticket to come to Thailand for 1 month. He let me do it. And I came here, this was 2012, and I came here for 6 weeks. I went to Phuket for 3 weeks. I came to Chiang Mai for 1 week, and then I went to Bangkok. And all I did was I just traveled around, and I trained at different Muay Thai gyms throughout Thailand. And it wasn't just doing Muay Thai, but I met other expats who were living here at the time, who were here for like 6 months, 9 months. Some were working online. I also met my meditation teacher, who I never done meditation before, and that's the first time I tried it. And you know, I had some kind of experience. It's hard to put in words, but I felt something. So when I left Thailand, it changed my whole perspective on life. It had that big of an impact, and it was like, I was like, you know what? I gotta go back to Thailand. So I went back to New York, and it took me like 2 months to kind of like weigh things out, because I didn't want to be emotional and just be like, because it's easy to romanticize a place when you come from vacation. So I took 2 months to think about like, what would I do? You know, what would be my goals that I want to do, and how would I even make it happen? So after 2 months, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna quit my job and move back. So I had to keep that news under wraps because I was working on Wall Street at the time. You have year-end bonuses which get paid out at the end of the year. So I bought my ticket to come to Thailand, but I couldn't tell anybody. I told my parents, but like I couldn't tell my work friends. I couldn't tell my friends because I didn't want to jeopardize my job. So after New Year's came and I got my bonus, I walked to my boss's office. Said, "Listen, I'm quitting my job and I'm moving to Thailand on a one-way ticket." And at first he didn't believe me. He was like, "No, really? Where's your next firm that you're gonna work at? Can you get me a job?" I'm like, "Vinny, no, I'm actually quitting my job and just moving there." So that's what kickstarted this 3-year journey. But it was a gradual process of, you know, Muay Thai, then meeting other people, realizing what it is that I want. And so, yeah, it eventually climaxed to me moving out, quitting my job and coming to Thailand. But that's pretty much where it started, my journey.
Were there doubts down?
Not really, to be honest. The only doubts I kind of had was, would I have enough stuff to keep me busy, to make sure I don't go bored, or like, because you meet some people who just come here and they just party, they booze, they don't have focus, they're not directing their energy. For me, I actually wrote a whole blog post. My goals were to have as many Muay Thai fights as possible, to do a Vipassana meditation for 10 days, to create an online business, and to do some kind of charity work. So, you know, the first 1.5 years I lived here, I had my first Muay Thai fight. I actually came to Chiang Mai and did a Vipassana retreat for 10 days. And, you know, my second year here, I then started working online. So when I got here, I pretty much had my marching orders of what to work on. So I didn't really have any doubt, to be honest. It was just a matter of like, you know, just making sure I stay focused and didn't get distracted. Those were like the only doubts. But, you know, it wasn't, to be honest, like if you had asked me what's harder, going on a journey to figure and heal yourself, or to stay put back in your old miserable life. And I will tell you, the harder choice is to stay back in New York and be miserable and live that life over and over and over and feel like you're a walking zombie and be dead. I honestly feel like that, because for me to have the freedom and the opportunity to go start a new life, that's like an easy choice for me to choose that. So I think it's not many of the doubts, and I wasn't really that worried about being it too hard.
Personally, about the people who I know who are in different kind of struggles in their life, but for them it seems to be easier to stay put and actually to stay in the situation they are in. They wouldn't say it's easy for me to really believe in my dreams and aspirations and go that follow my intuition as such, you know. Hence I can only applaud you for listening to what it is you want, and what will give you more purpose and meaning in life after all, right? Yeah.
Thank you.
I want to go back. You have spent quite a few, also quite a lot of time in the hospital. Is that right? Like in that process there?
Yeah, from the collapsed lung. I mean, even before the collapse. So yeah, with the collapsed lung, it happened to me twice actually. I was age 29 and 30, and it happened twice within a 1 year period. And both times I had to take at least 1 month of just staying at home, not working. And, you know, I lost a lot of weight. I lost like 20 pounds. I couldn't work out for like a couple months after surgery. You know, I was in a really fragile state of mind. And then even after that happened, I still had health issues. I remember going to the doctors and, you know, getting blood work done, because she'd be like, your cortisol stress levels are through the roof. Your testosterone levels are as if you're like a 50-year-old guy. And, you know, I was a young 20-year-old guy, and like my hormone levels were very healthy. So even after that, you know, it was just like one health problem after another. And, you know, that's why I think it's just the mental and spiritual part of my life was neglected, and it manifested as physical health problems. So yeah, besides the collapsed lung, I was constantly going to doctors for one issue or the other. I also have asthma, and you know, it's crazy. Like, she tried all these different things, and now that it's 3 years I left there, I can tell you what it was. But you know, during that time, it's like she kept throwing all these little band-aids or fixes, and obviously, you know, it was a bigger problem than what we're focusing on.
Now, if we have somebody watching our little conversation here and is currently in health problems, what would you recommend this person? Like, what is your personal take on how to go forward in life?
There's a really good book I read by James Altucher. It's called Choose Yourself. And unfortunately, I didn't.
What's the title?
It's called Choose Yourself by James Altucher.
Okay.
And he's a pretty famous guy. He helped found Twitter, I think, and he's done a lot of different businesses. But I didn't read the book until maybe a year and a half after I moved to Thailand. I wish I'd read it sooner, but it basically confirmed a lot of things that I had discovered on my path. And the thing that he touched upon is a thing called the daily practice. And that's where you do something that is for your physical health, something for your mental health, and something for your spiritual health. And for me, physical was never a problem. You know, I always worked out. But I think for me, the biggest thing was not sleeping. We as Americans neglect sleep. It's almost glorified to be a workaholic and say, oh, I only slept for 5 hours. I worked 60 hours a week. And yeah, I'm tough. I'm going to do this. And it's like, you know what? You're not doing yourself any favors. You're going to burn yourself out. And I think that's what actually caused my lung to collapse, was a lack of sleep. So I think you need to get sleep a minimum 7 hours a night. And that's the thing. It's like, it's the easiest thing to do. All you have to do is lay there. And I think that's one of the most important things for my daily practice. The other thing is meditation. I try to do 20 minutes to 30 minutes in the morning. And it takes 21 days for something to become a habit. And in the beginning, you know, it was a bit hard, but there's things like smartphone apps. One thing I use is called Insight Timer. That is nice. It helps track it. But suppose I talked to other friends who just started meditation. They actually suggested a thing called Headspace, I think. So
I'm using it too.
Use that also. So
yes,
I've never used it, but I've heard a lot of good things about it.
Yeah.
And you know, like, and other things like, I think I didn't used to read books at all, just because I didn't have the time or energy, but now I'm actually a self-development nerd. I love to read those kind of books. So hitting those things off daily is like a necessity. It's usually part of my morning ritual. So like I said, try to do 3 things that does your physical, your mental, and your spiritual aspects, because you need all three of those to be in balance. And if you neglect it, it's gonna show up in other parts of your life.
Yeah, like the bounce back coach concept is adding one more. For some people, it's when you have the physical and the emotional, but then others they take the spiritual in, which you already mentioned with the meditation. But you can also take it from a social perspective, because a lot of times it shows when people are in any form of crisis, they cannot crawl out of the dig they are, or of the ditch or whatever you call it they are in by themselves. They will make a better leap forward if they reach out to others. I'm not sure if that in your journey was essential, because you seem to me like a person who having a lot of strength within and managing to make your life how you wanted it to be. But
actually,
yeah,
you are. That's actually a really good point. That is something I do want to touch upon, and that's a thing that I've recently discovered. It's called find your tribe, or your vibe attracts your tribe, and that is such a crucial role. I realize now, because when I was in New York, when I was in my 20s, a lot of my friends or social circles involved drinking, going out, partying. When I turned 30, those things didn't become important to me. So that's when I started to, I guess you want to call it, mature. And things like reading books or like going on hikes, those are things that I then started to have more interest in. And for me to have those kind of friends in New York was hard. So as I've moved across the world, in places like Chiang Mai especially, I have some of my best friends living out here. And these are people that came from home. These are people I've met out here. And that's why Chiang Mai I was only supposed to be here for 6 months. I've been here for almost like 14 months now. Is because this is what I consider home. It's not the place, but the people. And this is where my tribe is. And it's that for sure has been a huge factor in my journey. Meeting, like I said, my first trip to Thailand, when I got to meet these other expats and see they're the ones who impacted me and kind of motivating me to be like, wow, these people are doing it. I can follow in their footsteps. Like it wasn't some crazy thought. So yeah, for sure, when you're able to surround yourself by like-minded individuals, that is a huge, huge thing. And going to these things like where we met at the meditation places, being around a conscious community, I think for me, whenever I look at a place for a check mark, I need to have like clean air, nature, but there also needs to be like clean or a conscious community of people that I can relate to, whether it's through meditation, through hiking or whatever. But like there needs to be a healthy group of individuals I can socialize with.
Oh, fabulous! I'm so happy that you actually find a new home in Chiang Mai. I personally, as you know, have found homes in Asia. I have two places who I hold very dearly. One being Singapore, although Singapore has redeveloped itself and renewed itself many times since I've left. But the other one is definitely Taiwan, which is a great place for going hiking and having really these beautiful connections with individuals. And where partying and boozing is definitely not the number one thing. You mentioned your tribe. Perhaps it would be great if you just share quickly what tribe building you are currently doing. I heard from you are doing an Udemy course, so please share some more information about that. I'm sure it has to do with Muay Thai boxing.
This is my first Udemy course, so it's about weightlifting and physical health. And like I said, I've been doing physical health stuff since high school. So people always come up to me like, hey, Chris, you look in really great shape. What do you do? And I've always been like, whatever, yeah. But now I'm like, like how can I give value to the world? And for me, when I learned about Udemy, I'm teaching with video courses. I was like, you know what? I enjoy creating videos. I've been doing a lot of video blogging, and physical health is something that I can talk about easily. So you know what? Why don't I try to help the world? And this is my first step in doing that. So yeah, so I go into my gym routine, which is, which body parts. So I have 5 different body parts you work at, like your chest, your back, your shoulders, your legs, your arms. And I break down my physical routine. And then I also supplement it with things such as rest and recovery, like what kind of nutrition, what you should be doing to recover your muscles when you're not at the gym. Because these are other things that people don't focus on sometimes. They forget about it because, you know,
Right.
it's not just what you do in the gym, but it's also what you do outside the gym, which is just important. So this is the course. I've been working on it for about 2 months now. I was down in Phuket last month, and I spent 2 weeks there shooting film at some of the nice gyms there, because Phuket's it's a big hotbed of fitness. A lot of people go there for Muay Thai, MMA, just to lose weight, and it's a fitness holiday. And that's where I lived for 1.5 years. So I went down there to see old friends, but I also got to do some work. So I'm hoping to release the course in the next week or so. And I'm definitely going to give it to your followers for free. I'd love to do that.
Wonderful. That's fabulous. I definitely want to give it a try. Sitting here in South Germany and it's now winter time, you need definitely an extra boost to keep active and keep going. Luckily, I have a running partner who I meet 3 times a week. Other than that, I would just pile on extra kilos from all the Christmas cookies that's currently on the table.
I have a sweet tooth also.
I mean, it's all about balance, you know, and knowing there are good things that are going into your body. If you start off with these and they are delicious, then the rest is easy. Yeah, perfect. I want to thank you so much, Christopher, for sharing with us your journey and letting us know about how you're progressing in life. I'm really curious to hear also in the future. Please tell me and share with me what are you up to. This was only the start. This was the first interview I had with a very resilient soul, and I'm so happy that you could join me for this. And I wish you really all the best for the future forward.
Thank you so much, Anja. I'm really honored to be your first guest, and thank you so much for reaching out and finding me. And this has been a lot of fun. So thank you so much. I'm so honored.
Have a good day. I'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.